guys, and this is going to be a useful stream talking about cryptocurrency. We're going to do some TA, looking at different altcoins and of course Bitcoin, but overall there's going to be some overarching themes in terms of useful information for this cycle because there's a lot of questions out there. Normally I'm winging it and freestyling the streams, but we've got an agenda today. There's lots to cover. I'm getting over a cold. This could easily be a 2-hour stream, but not with my throat. So we'll see how long we go here. But I appreciate the likes and the shares. I never ask for them. About once every 2 years, I'll ask for likes and shares. So click those buttons, please, and reward me for not constantly asking you to do so. We're going to give away some free stuff as well. We'll get to that in a bit. Let's get into it. And we're going to answer some questions. Bigger picture. So one of the first things that I want to talk about is the dominance chart. That's the wrong screen. So dominance chart helps us determine when is it time for altcoins? When is alt season? And right now we've got Bitcoin looking great, beautiful bullish weekend. And we're looking at the dominance chart with a daily bounce underway. Now, when you look at the bigger picture for dominance, this is an extremely strong uptrend. And I just treat it like a trend. And we know that if we stay in this strong weekly uptrend, Bitcoin remains the place to be. Yes, there's opportunities when this chart drops to be looking for altcoins to outperform. This past weekend, ADA, Doge, huge moves to the upside. But if it's going to be sustained with these altcoins outperforming Bitcoin, really what I need to see, and Jungle Funk Joey has been looking at this for a while, this 2-week time frame, whenever I look at a chart, bigger picture, that has a clear trend, I need to identify something longer term that I can say, if this changes, something significant is shifting. And so when I look at this 2-week EMA 12 and see that we have closed above this level for literally 22 months, that tells me when we start to lose this level, that will be a significant shift in the character of the market, and that will be what we can call alt season. If we're over this level, nothing changes bigger picture. We've got to lose this level. So everybody, if you're looking for altcoin follow through, watch the dominance 2-week EMA 12 support. There was one candle we closed just over it, but then quickly right back above it. So if what's going to happen, we need to do the trends. We need to confirm a daily downtrend. We need to then zoom out to the weekly, and then eventually we would need to confirm a weekly downtrend. And that will happen eventually. It's just we want to know, is that happening now or not? And we don't have enough information. A major point that I want to convey to all of you is you are not going to nail the top of this bull market. Just like you're not going to nail bottoms. I'm a professional trader for the last 14 years. And what I have learned is, yeah, I've nailed plenty of tops and bottoms, but it's not most often. And I don't have that expectation on myself. And when you alleviate that expectation from yourself, you alleviate a bunch of pressure because, again, it's not me nailing the top of this bull market is not the most likely scenario. So then what's the best approach? For me, it's scaling into and out of positions. If you take the precedent, I know I'm not going to nail the top. And then you go from there, you scale out. So maybe I exit 10%. When we're at some extremes. We're going to talk about some indicators that can help us identify when we are at some extremes. But scaling out into profit, again, this is my third major crypto bull cycle going back to 2017. I have never nailed a top, but I have scaled out and been all cash well before the market accepts we're now in a bear market. And I every time have been able to reload way cheaper than when I sold. Burn it into your brain to sell euphoria and to buy fear. And we are in euphoria. I just made a post to my Facebook friends who are not in markets, generally speaking, saying, you're about to start hearing about markets a lot, and it's going to make you want to buy in. This is not the time to be buying in. The time to buy in is during fear. I'm going to be looking to sell over the next couple of months. And just, again, trying to prevent the people, the herd, from acting on their emotions, as we know people are so subject to do once they get that FOMO kicking in. Do I think a top is in right now? No. I'm looking for 100,000 plus in Bitcoin, but I did just take a little bit of profit in a swing position I've been in IBIT, the ETF for Bitcoin, for many months. We'll talk about that in just a moment as well. But again, just to circle back to the dominance chart, keep an eye on it and ensure that we're seeing the clear character shift if we're going to call it alt season. For me, by definition, I will not call it alt season if the 2-week EMA 12 is support on the dominance chart. One other thing that we know is when Bitcoin pulls back on the daily, which is inevitable, right? We just went straight up on the daily thanks to the election results. Straight up 25%. Can it keep going? Absolutely. Blue sky breakout, the last thing you want to be doing is shorting. I'm going to talk about that more in just a moment, but let's just burn this into your brain. Do not short a blue sky market. Anytime I make a statement like that that's definitive, just know that, again, as a 14-year professional trader, I am saying it through direct experience of hundreds of times, thousands of trades. Do not short. Have it as a rule. We have to have rules to be consistent as traders, and one of my rules is I will not short a blue sky breakout. Because again, what's the probabilities that I'm going to nail the top? What's the probabilities? It's low. It's not in my favor. We have to align with probabilities in our favor if we're going to succeed as traders long term, and shorting blue sky markets is not the way to do it. Now, I'll give you permission if this is your third crypto cycle, okay, you are experienced enough where you can look to short some of these extreme moves. Not the blue sky names, the names that, like, Doge isn't blue sky, but there are ways to position. We'll talk about that in just a moment with an example of looking at a short that didn't nail the top, but allowed for positioning where if you're wrong, you don't lose anything. So, which alts dominance chart. Okay, one more thing on the dominance chart. So, if Bitcoin gets the daily consolidation that we know is inevitable, generally speaking, more often than not, and again, we saw Bitcoin all-time highs. All right, confidence goes to the altcoins. Confidence goes to the crypto stocks. We've seen that plenty of times. That's great for the bulls. That's what we want to see. We want to see that profit rotating around within the sector. When Bitcoin sees daily consolidation, more often than not, the alts will drop harder than Bitcoin. Bitcoin will pull back 3 to 5%, and the alts will pull back 5 to 10%. Just because they're more thinly traded, they're not as liquid. That's generally how it goes. So we can anticipate that when Bitcoin sees daily consolidation, the most likely scenario is the dominance chart will keep bouncing. If it doesn't do that, we can say, this is different. This is unusual, and we pay attention to that. But we're going to anticipate that the most likely scenario is the dominance chart will go up when crypto as a whole is consolidating, because altcoins will drop harder than Bitcoin. Something to keep in mind as well. Which altcoins do we want to be looking at? We are in laggard season. Laggard means look for the name that hasn't run yet. For example, if Dogecoin is leading the way with a huge move up, keep an eye on SHIB. This is a hindsight example, but you look at SHIB. SHIB broke resistance November 9th. And from that resistance break, then went up 45%. November 9th, we had already broken out on Doge. Doge had its clear breakout November 6th. And so from November 9th, Doge still was strong and still has upside, but maybe you're not comfortable. Well, we already broke out on Doge. I feel like I missed it. I don't like the risk reward. You look for the laggard name, and SHIB was a good example of that. Also, we know there's narratives. You have the sector of crypto, and then you have subsectors. You've got DeFi, you've got meme coins, you've got, whatever else. And you'll see rotation within the subsectors as well. So you look for a leader, for example, and then let's look at AI. How can we use AI to help us? So Solana, we know Sol has been strong. Sol's approaching all-time highs. Well, 260, still a ways away, 20%, but multiple year highs. So if Solana is strong, and this is, shout out to Chart Guys member Chris, was talking about, I want to look at what DeFi projects are on Solana. So I'm not a fundamental analyst in crypto by any means. So what I do is I hop on over to X, Twitter, and I go to Grok AI, and I say, what are some Solana DeFi projects. And then it tells me, and I go down, more and more I'm using AI with my trading. It's definitely helped me make money already. But it gives a list, and then I can just pull up each one of these charts. And then I use my technical analysis skill set to say, okay, which of these charts are looking good? Which setup do I like, where I can anticipate the most likely scenario? What's the volume and liquidity like? Who's knocking on the door of resistance? Which of these names have a closer proximity to all-time highs? That's how I can narrow down the list. Again, 2017, you're trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. That's it, pretty much. And here, it's a very different market, and there's 10,000 things you can be looking at, and you're going to constantly be scramble brain trying to find the next thing unless you take an organized, analytical approach in this manner. You've got to look at a list and then narrow it down. Otherwise, you'll be overwhelmed and you'll just miss everything. So, it's okay to play hot potato a little bit or musical chairs. You don't want to do it too much. But again, there's got to be a system surrounding it. It's not just scrambling, because then you're just acting on your emotions. So I love pen and paper. Just have a pen and paper near your computer to write things down. Otherwise, you'll forget. I go through this list of 15 names. I pick out my top 3. I write them down. I write down the most important resistance level on those 3 names. I can set alerts on TradingView or wherever that let me know when that level's breaking. That is the way to be systematic about looking for the laggards and looking for rotation. Look for a leader in a subsector, and then look at the other names within the subsector to see where else that confidence can seep out into. And use AI. It's great. As soon as we found out that J.D. Vance was going to be Trump's nominee, I used AI. I said, what sectors would benefit from a J.D. Vance vice presidency? It gave me a stock that he's invested in. I grabbed it. I sold it an hour later. I make money because AI told me Rumble was something. I've never heard of that stock, but use AI in summary. All right, how to enter. So you don't want to chase. You don't want to buy the top. I developed the back. You've heard me talk about back burners. We're going to talk about it a bit more just because I cannot. It's the kind of thing where I just want to take all of you and shake you by the shoulders and back burners. I developed this trade strategy through observation in 2017, and this is how I changed my life. Back burners changed my life. And I went from a 7-year-long trader in 2017, and the observations that I'm sharing in this stream and the observations of the experience that I gained in the 2017 crypto market quickly grew me to an advanced trader. I was a trader. I had experience. I became an advanced trader because of the amount of time and effort and observation. So as we know, back burners are when you're in a breakout market, ideally blue sky breakout, and you look for entries on consolidation because we know the relationships between the time frames. 5-minute oversold often marks an hourly higher low. 15-minute oversold often marks a 4-hour higher low. Hourly oversold or 4-hour oversold often marks a daily higher low. So what we've been seeing, and this is our Trader Pro, and I guess we'll talk about that now. So Trader Pro, we got a free trial for all of you that want to try it out and use these indicators. TraderPro.com, free trial. The code is ATH. I'm posting the link. Free trial. I think it's a month. Use these back burners. Use the super stacks. One of the reasons I took some profit in IBIT, which we'll talk about in just a moment, is because we are hitting some daily super stacks. Does that mean I'm going to nail a top? No, but when we're in daily and weekly super stacks, for me, it's a signal. Scale out a little bit of a position. We are at some extremes. So here's Bitcoin. Again, it's just these back burners have been perfection. I could not ask for a better example over the last 5 days. Bitcoin, 15-minute oversold into a new all-time high. 15-minute oversold into a new all-time high. I mean, you just go down the list, and there's too many examples. ETH, USDT, 15-minute oversold, new all-time highs. Looks like there was a data gap there. We'll go to Coinbase for a better example. Coinbase. Yep, it fired early. Got to be protective. Fired early, but obviously continuation. So at this point in time, we've used up 5-minute back burners. We've used up, Doge didn't even get to 15-minute oversold. Doge has just been doing 5-minute. Bitfinex, I don't want to use that, but 5-minute. So again, 15-minute back burners, nothing there. 5-minute, hasn't happened in a while. It happened all the way back here. Some exchanges, here's another factor. Some exchanges will hit 5-minute oversold or 15-minute, whatever it is, and others might not. And so you have to be looking at potentially multiple exchanges. Sometimes it's based on liquidity. Sometimes a 5-minute RSI will get down to 29 on Binance, but 31 on Coinbase. And that just means there was more bid support, more orders on Coinbase at a certain level. So just be aware that you may get different readings by a point or two on RSI, depending what exchange you're looking at. With where we stand at this point in time, I would be watching for, you could still be looking for 15-minute oversold as a back burner, but I'm waiting for hourly. And again, it's determining, are you aggressive or conservative? If you are aggressive, if you're staying up at night, and again, this was me in 2017, I was waking up every single 2 hours. I was setting my alarm. I was trading throughout the night. I was peeing in bottles. I was doing all of it. Didn't touch a woman for a year. If that's the level you're at, then you're looking at shorter term timeframes and you're actively trading those shorter term timeframes. If you're saying, all right, 2017 was great. I've leveled up my financial life. I'm not looking to spend another 500 hours on the computer over the next couple of months. I'm going to wait for the hourly. That just means you're more patient. Aggressive is shorter term timeframes. More patient is longer term timeframes. Neither is right or wrong. Bitcoin looks like it's about to start hourly consolidation. We're going to watch for the response to first 5-minute oversold. So the back burner didn't trigger at the right time. There's going to be examples that don't work. Nothing is 100%. I'm giving you something that puts the odds and the probabilities in your favor. You still have to trade. You still have to know what you're doing. This isn't a blind buy signal and then you go outside. You've got to manage your trades, but it tells you scout for the entry right now. Start looking for the long. We also get information when back burners shift. For example, let's say Bitcoin heads to hourly consolidation and hits 5-minute oversold here. And then we bounce. We don't hit a new high and we hit a lower low. Instantly, our brains need to say something is different. 5-minute oversold did not mark the hourly high or low. I need to zoom out and look for longer term consolidation. So how do we protect against that? You sell partial, you put your stop under the low. If you stop out, small risk, break even or small loss, and then okay, zoom out and then look for the next one. I, at this point, am looking for hourly oversold for a daily high or low. Or 30-minute. I mean, you could be on the 30-minute as well. These time frames haven't come close to oversold, but that's what we're going to be looking for from here. Again, it's just putting the probabilities in your favor, putting risk and reward in your favor. Is my risk reward favorable buying right now with these daily candles looking like this? Or do I want to wait for some shorter term oversold conditions? Because again, at the least, you get the 5-minute bounces that allow for positioning. Even failed back burners can give you positioning. And that's it's a more in-depth trading concept. Again, we have everything that I'm talking about, we have content surrounding. If you look at crypto, go to our website, chartguys.com. Back burners, we got tons of content. But if you want more in-depth info, go search back burners, breakdowns. I show my trading strategy with scaling in and scaling out, how I trade crypto breakdowns, 20, 30-minute video, giving very in-depth about my process, playing these breakdowns. We're going to talk about a sucker punch. Sucker punches, we need to be prepared for that because sucker punches happen in a complacent bull market. The NASDAQ just did it on the weekly time frame. This did not shake me out of my bull position and my bull thesis for the markets because I know how to recognize a sucker punch because 2017 crypto showed me. 2017 crypto, the one of the most proudest things about my trading career is that my active short-term day trading and swing trading outperformed Bitcoin. It's thousands of percent run. I outperformed it by trading. And so many people say, oh, if I just held Bitcoin, I would have more instead of trying to trade. For me, that wasn't the case. And the reason for that is because you would get sucker punches, which are complacent bull markets, where you then flash drop really hard and fast. You trigger all the stops. And that would happen to the tune of 30%. Bitcoin would dump 30% in 2 hours and then V-shape a 20% bounce. And I was sitting at the computer taking advantage of those moves. So again, what's a sucker punch? I did a whole webinar about it. Go to our website, search sucker punches. They're going to happen in this crypto bull market. And they're going to shake you out of your positions because they're going to trigger stops. And those that have cash are going to be buying those liquidations. The market sucker punch. Watch that video. Again, just go to our website and search these terms: back burner, sucker punch, etc. So again, when am I taking profit? As I mentioned, overbought. So the fact that Bitcoin is hitting daily super stack, to me tells me it's time to start taking a bit of position off. I've been in this position for months. Again, I've got long-term no-touch crypto, which if Bitcoin goes nutty to 200,000 this cycle, I am going to touch it. But I've got swing positions from over the summer where my mindset was stock market is this strong. Bitcoin, no red flags on the monthly consolidation. I'm just going to hold this position and wait. And because I know all-time highs eventually are very likely. And so I held to the move to 69 and back down to 60. And I held through all that because I knew I wasn't going to be selling until all-time highs. And I was very confident all-time highs were coming. But look for the super stacks to tell us. So again, we got some oversold super stacks on the daily before some of these bounces. And again, look, so here's a failed super stack, right? It didn't mark a long-term bottom, but it triggers at 60.5 thousand and we bounce up to it's a 5% bounce. So if I sell a third of that position and stick my stop under the low, yes, I stop out, but I'm protected. And then we get another one, and that's a bounce of 30 whatever percent, and then we get another one. So if you can position on the ones that fail by selling partial, the ones that succeed way more than make up for it. And so now we've got some overbots firing. And so this tells me I'm going to take a little bit of profit. And am I expecting to nail the top? No, absolutely not. If I were expecting to nail the top, I'd be selling my full position and I'd be looking short. But I don't have that confidence, so I just take a bit off. I'm out half of my IBIT position from over the summer. I really like the gains overall. I like the gains today. I know that daily consolidation will happen sooner or later. The mindset is, what's the likelihood that Bitcoin is not going to see $84,000 again over the next couple of weeks? For me, it's very high probability that we will see 84,000 and below over the next week plus. And so I'm scaling out. If I sell half at 84 and we get another leg up to 89, oh man, I'll sell the other half at 89. Now my average exit is 86 and a half. And then we look for daily consolidation and I can reload the hourly back burner. That's my mindset for how I'm trading my shorter term positions. Again, if you're looking longer term and you're not looking to actively day trade, then ignore it. That's fine. We know a daily high or low is the most likely scenario the next time we consolidate. There's no red flags for daily consolidation. We just know it's inevitable because that's what happens in trends. Do not short. The only people that should be shorting blue sky markets are hedging. If you're hedging, you're saying, I got a swing position in Bitcoin. My plan is to sell over 100,000. I don't want to sell at 84. I don't care if we're going to see daily consolidation. That's fine. Or if you say, I have a huge position, but I don't want to sell yet, I want 100,000 plus, well, maybe I try hedging a little bit. Maybe I take a little bit of a short with a clear invalidation level where I say, all right, this is either the temporary top and I want to protect a little bit, or I stop out and I get back a little bit of profit and my long position keeps benefiting and that profit far offsets it. But I've been doing that a lot in the broader stock market this year where, I'll just see a spot where, right now I'm in a NASDAQ short in my IRA because I'm pretty confident in this daily consolidation shaping up. And I'm going to exit, hourly back burner, I'm going to exit some of my short. And the only reason I'm in this short is because I have a fat, long IRA that I'm not selling right up here. So I protect a little bit. I really like what my IRA did last week. I don't want to give back, 3% of that if we're due for normal, healthy consolidation. So again, this is micromanaging trades, but it is something that I often do. If you have experience, you can still short. And looking at Doge, we had an example over the weekend where we had a clear 5-minute climax. And again, we hit higher highs. This was not a long-term top. But here yesterday, Doge 5-minute is example of a likely blow-off top. I'm going to do a webinar in December about blow-off tops because I think one's coming in the broader market. I think it's going to help mark a top in Bitcoin sometime in the coming months. Again, I'm not expecting to nail the top, but I'm going to be mentally prepared for that. And I'll do that webinar in December. Even if you're only into crypto and not into stocks, definitely pay attention to that one as well. But we had an example of a 5-minute blow-off top. So 5-minute blow-off top, different time frames mean different things. For 5-minute, I'd look for 4-hour consolidation. It didn't happen. We only got hourly consolidation. Hourly first, but I expected to be drawn out a bit more. And I was wrong. But the name of the game in trading is when you are wrong, you position to not lose or to lose real small. And the 5-minute back burner at 2 p.m. Eastern yesterday. So look at the volume. You got 5-minute volume, and clearly you say, okay, it's increasing a bit. All right, we've now got 3 candles in a row of the highest 5-minute volume in the entire day. We know we're up an insane amount on the day. We've got a psychological 30-cent resistance level. So all those things in combination say we're looking for a blow-off top in the short term. And we ended up with a pullback of 18% in 2 hours. Now, 2.5 hours. And again, I would have, if I were actively shorting Doge, which there's no good, safe exchanges in the US to be shorting crypto. So I was not shorting this, but shout out to Devin. Devin is one of our OG crypto traders. So he nailed the top 29.7 and he sold fairly quickly and then reloaded. We'll talk about that in just a moment. So 5-minute time frame. So he nails the top, sells half on the initial pullback, and he reloaded this 5-minute lower high because my mindset was, well, look at that daily candle. We may be putting in a longer term top here. And so again, you take profit. He reloaded a quarter of his position, and then we get a bunch of follow through. But if you are scaling out, if I'm in it, let's say I don't nail the top because I don't have those expectations. I short at 29 and I sell a third at 27.5, nowhere near the bottom. I can now put a stop at over 30 cents and have no risk. I cannot lose on that trade unless something terrible happens with the exchange going down or whatever. That's always a 0.1% chance. But when I say risk-free, I mean you're very unlikely to lose any money on that trade. And I would have left a runner and I would have been wrong. And I would have stopped out on the move up today, on the follow-through. The name of the game is ensuring that when you're wrong, it doesn't impact you in any meaningful way. Where people get in trouble is obviously lack of stop losses, lack of invalidation to their thesis, and then just holding while, right now, someone is short Doge from 25. They have no control of this trade whatsoever. They're dripping sweat. They feel sick to their stomach and they're stressed out. And we can easily see another leg up from here. There's no reason we can't. And so we never want to put ourselves in that position. Again, as a professional trader, I have been in that position hundreds of times. You learn from it and you create rules to ensure that you prevent yourself from finding yourself in those situations. So again, unless you have years of experience, multiple crypto cycles, you're not shorting this bull market cycle. We've been waiting for the entire year for this. If you want to short, you wait for a bear market. I mean, why weren't you actively shorting Doge all of April, May, June, July? Why are you looking now to be actively shorting Doge? Go with the trend. So I'm taking a bit of profit. I will reload, next hourly oversold for Bitcoin, I'm back in a position, absolutely. Adding to that position. Oftentimes, I will add at a higher level. Let's just say, all right, I take some profit on Bitcoin, but we don't top. We go to 88. And then when we get hourly oversold, it happens at 85, but I sold at 84. Am I going to sit there and say, oh, well, it's a little higher than where I sold, I can't rebuy? No, I'll rebuy higher than where I sold. The conditions are different. The risk reward and the probability setup for the trade is different. Many times in 2017 and 2021, I would buy higher than where I sold because profit is profit. I'm still making money. Yes, it's not ideal. I didn't nail a top and nail a bottom, but don't let that psychologically hold you back. If I lock in $5,000 on a trade, but then the pullback is higher than where I sold, but I can get another $3,000 on that trade, obviously it makes sense to keep going for that trade if the conditions favor a new trade setup. Bitcoin's looking good here. Still no red flags. 15-minute uptrend is our short-term guide. New short-term support, 84.3. Simple statement, if 84.3 is support, the bulls have absolute complete control. If we lose it, we'll zoom out. We'll look for an hourly higher low. We'll watch the response to first 5-minute oversold conditions. Talked about sucker punch. When to short, don't. Again, it's just the amount of people that have been, I watch people, right? I interact with a lot of you online. I've just watched people short this blue sky stock market and just lose. When all you just had to do was buy, set a stop, and not do a thing. And instead, it's such a shame to see people constantly trying to fight trends like that. I put out a little video over the weekend talking about weekend sentiment. Watch how Bitcoin and the NASDAQ closed Friday afternoon. We were able to say, because the NASDAQ was up at all-time highs and Bitcoin was up at all-time highs at 2 p.m. Friday Eastern, this is great sentiment heading into the weekend. Are we more likely to see people click the green button or the red button over the weekend if this is how we're going into the weekend? The answer is the green button, and we saw that. So use that sentiment. If the NASDAQ has a 2% down red day this coming Friday, and Bitcoin starts daily consolidation and is down 2%, 3% from its all-time high, it's different sentiment heading into the weekend than if you're closing right at that high. So it's a clue. It's just a little piece of the puzzle. Watch how the market trades 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern as the stock market is closing for the weekend. Crypto stocks. So we are seeing, MARA right now is having its most bullish day in months, because what we are seeing is the confidence of Bitcoin and Bitcoin all-time highs last week translates into altcoins running all weekend, translates into crypto stocks running today. That capital has to be put to work. The bell didn't ring till 9:30. People buy because they missed, I missed the altcoin run over the weekend, or I wish I had more Bitcoin. And well, MARA isn't even at 52-week highs. So that's just the psychology of what happens when the profit is seeping out and going everywhere else in the market. And so you got names like Coin, just explosion. Coin is having its most bullish 4-day span. I'm just going off a look here, but it's years. And it's because it's playing catch up. Coin's all-time high is going to be back in the table if this keeps up. So the stocks that I'm watching are Coin and Wolf. Wolf is your low cap runner. Earnings tomorrow. Got to be cautious of that. But again, don't want to be too overwhelmed. I don't want to be watching 8 crypto stocks. I want to zoom in and focus on a couple. Coin showed clear relative strength to end last week compared to crypto miners. So Coin, the last 4 days of Coin compared to MARA, Coin is performing much better. But keep an eye out. MSTR, I know a lot of people like that, but MSTR led the way, and obviously it's still strong. But what you had happen was MSTR led the way, and then we didn't get a new high just yet. And so, again, there was a period where we consolidated sideways, and Coin acted as a laggard to MSTR. So MSTR is whooping Coin over the last couple of months, from September 2 months here, we're up 187%. It's whooping coin in terms of gains, but last 3 days, we're up 26%. Coin last 3 days, this is the laggard. It's up, well, not a huge amount more, 30%. Not a great example, but you get the idea. Where you get a leader, the leader chills out and trades in a sideways range, and you look for the laggards. And that's Bitcoin with altcoins. We see that all the time. So we can look at it with crypto stocks as well. So again, for me, it's coin and wolf. If I want a large cap name, it's coin. I want a small cap name, it's wolf. Riot and MARA, are they playing catch up? Yes, definitely. Backburners. What's the next trade here? For me, I'm looking for hourly to pull back for a daily higher low. We know a daily higher low is the most likely scenario. So I want to align what I'm looking for with the most likely scenario. And I patiently wait. And I know that I'll be watching a ton of crypto stocks for daily higher lows next consolidation. As will the rest of the market sometime. I've been talking about these backburners for 7 years. And the more people that use them, the more they're going to get front run. Meaning, instead of the RSI going down to 28, it stops at 31. And people get in, everybody's in line waiting to get it. And some people skip the line and then it doesn't actually get there. So I have to be cautious of that as well. But again, tons of space for daily higher lows. I know that I'll be interested. Tesla, coin, definitely looking for daily higher lows eventually. All right, let's look at some of these altcoins here. So again, Bitcoin, full bull control, 15-minute uptrend. When we lose it, we zoom out. Again, we just play the zoom out game. Then we'll go to the hourly and scout the higher low. Eventually, we'll go to the 4-hour and scout the higher low, but not yet. You can be watching the 15-minute to ensure full bull control. ETH had a nice laggard move when it broke over its zone in the 27, 28s, but the ETH BTC chart has to see sustained follow through. Nice move, but what makes this move any different than this move, or any different than this move, or any different than this move? None of these moves confirmed longer-term trend changes. They were fast, hard spikes, just like a short squeeze. When you have a name, a stock that has been in a downtrend for years, you'll get these pops where there's 30, 40% gains out of nowhere because you get little short squeezes, but they don't sustain with follow through. I can just show you cannabis ACB weekly time frame. How's that downtrend look? All bears, but you zoom in and that's 100% bounce. That's a 200% bounce. The long-term trend is down, but there's these bounces that don't change the trend. They just are short-term relief. Bears reload the shorts, and we keep bleeding. So ETH BTC has to show us that this is not a short squeeze that fades again. We need the daily uptrend to confirm. Then we'll zoom out to the weekly. Eventually, we will need the weekly uptrend to confirm. I can say with confidence that if ETH BTC is going to confirm a weekly uptrend, that means the Bitcoin dominance chart is losing 2-week EMA 12 support, which has been holding for 2 years essentially. So those things will happen together if they're going to happen or when they happen. Is this the time that it's happening? We can't say. We can have our theses. I think it's happening, all right, then you better hold this EMA back test and you better confirm a daily uptrend. Otherwise, we're just going to do one of these and go right back to the lows. So you have to look for something that says this is different. I can look at ETH BTC and say that weekly EMA 12 has been resistance for the last 4 months. So if we don't get over it, nothing changes. I have to identify the things that tell me the character of this chart on a longer term time frame is changing. Make a checklist. All right, confirm a daily uptrend. Confirm a weekly uptrend. These things aren't happening. If I'm not checking these off for the bulls, they're not proving it. My throat's going on me. ETH. So I love the 3-month higher low attempt here, but we need to clear 4,100 to be looking back up at all-time highs. And if we're going to clear that level, ETH BTC must be putting in a long-term bottom. Same thing. We're going to look for a daily higher low next consolidation. We're going to watch the response to hourly oversold. Again, 15-minute oversold has been working. Yes, this one did see another leg down. Potentially would have stopped out. I didn't trade that bounce, but got to protect against the sucker punch because, again, one more time, In a bull market, you get bull complacency where bulls just buy every dip and it works for a while. And then you get one that liquidates stop losses, flushes. Coinbase stops working. Remember that? That's going to happen. Coinbase is going to lock you out of your account. Whenever we see that massive volatility 10% drop day. Maybe we're up 50% in 2 weeks before it happens, but it's going to happen. Why can I say that? Because it's happened every cycle. We see it time and time again. You get the liquidation waterfall drop, insane volatility. It will mark a bottom. You'll see a V-shaped bounce with very significant follow through and then a tightening range from there. Watch the Sucker Punch webinar so you are ready, have some cash. That's why I don't mind selling here. Take some profit so that I have cash where if we do see a sucker punch, I've got some capital that I can take advantage of on that move. I can remember there was a sucker punch in Bitcoin in 2017. I started the Bitcoin 2017 cycle with a net worth of like $35,000. And a few months later, there was a sucker punch bounce in Bitcoin where I made $20,000 in less than 2 minutes. Market buy, market sell. And I was just like, what the is going on? This isn't even real. But it was a sucker punch that allowed for that volatility. And it will happen. We'll see a sucker punch for a daily higher low where we just straight waterfall drop. I don't see any sign it's shaping up. It comes out of nowhere, but the premise is bull complacency. Every dip buy keeps working. It's going to happen eventually. Again, just one more time, NASDAQ weekly time frame. Bulls up the entire year. A bit of a blow off top in the sense that bull, 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 big bull move, and then just out of nowhere, zoom, where it's just give back months of gains. You get the V-shaped bounce, you get the equilibrium, and bulls are able to recover into continuation. All right, more. So, daily stair step. Well, not exactly. Daily stair step would be if every single day was a higher low. That one wasn't by a few pennies. Again, just identify the time frame that matters the most to you. So I could say, all right, I can see just at a glance, there's a little bit of relative weakness compared to BTC right now. Why can I say that? Hourly consolidation has started. We just saw the lowest price in 4 hours. And I know Bitcoin is not doing that. Bitcoin has not started hourly consolidation. We just hit a new all-time high as I'm speaking. Congrats on 85,000 plus. At this point, everybody's looking at 100, right? We know that's the level. The faster, if we run straight up towards 100, we're very likely to reject the first time around. It depends on how we get there. But again, if we lose the 15-minute uptrend, zoom out to the hourly. So Sol, I already lost it, so I don't care about the 15-minute right now on Sol. Now I'm on the hourly, okay? Last hourly support, 214.65. If the Sol bulls are going to keep complete control, that level will hold. If we lose it, we're going to zoom out. We're going to look for a 4-hour higher low. And I know some of you have set your game plan and you're waiting for hourly oversold and daily consolidation, and you're having to sit and watch another leg up. And it's frustrating and hard. That's the way it goes sometimes. When you're in a blue sky market, I always suggest leaving a runner. And the reason for leaving a runner is psychological ease. And that's the beauty of the long-term no-touch. You've heard me many times call long-term no-touch position is your anti-FOMO position, where you could say, okay, it keeps running. I didn't get my swing position, but my net worth is higher than yesterday because my long-term no-touch position is benefiting, even if I fumbled this swing trade entry. Cannot stress enough having a partial position. The people in the most angst right now are the people that are all cash. Got to have that longer term position. It will help your shorter term trading psychologically. Doge. So Doge in full control. We've got an hourly uptrend. So when is the last time the hourly uptrend was lost? It's been a very long time. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. This was that temporary top. We might be rolling over. V-shaped bounce. Nope, higher low. This one, little bit. I mean, you could call that a little downtrend there if you want. But bulls are still in full control in the short term very clearly. And so determine the time frame. Say, all right, what hasn't happened? Let's just say over this, looking at this chart, We have not seen a clear, confirmed hourly downtrend and loss of EMA support on this run. So I know that the next time that happens, that will likely clearly be saying daily consolidation is coming. But if we're not confirming an hourly downtrend, we can't have confidence that daily consolidation is coming. There is a major resistance zone approaching 34.35 from the way down. And that's it, or at least on Coinbase. But that is the resistance zone here to be watching. Let's go Solana. No, let's go Cardano. I've been talking smack about Cardano for a long time just because ADA BTC said this is a lead bear. That's a short squeeze, right? So this is bear forever. Here's your ADA BTC chart. Bear for 3.5 years. Nice big candle. Is this just a short squeeze that's going to reset and we're just going to give it all back and keep fading down? Is this an indication that a longer term bottom is being set? Again, we don't have enough information to say with confidence one way or the other right now. We can develop a thesis. You can say, I think that's the longer term bottom. That's fine. I won't argue against that. It may be. But you need to establish clear criteria that would invalidate your thesis that a longer term bottom is being set. Look at the monthly. Every bounce has struggled at monthly EMA. These are EMA 12 and 26. It struggled at these EMAs. So here we are rejecting initially. So I can look at this and say, okay, if we start to turn these EMAs into support, that'll be the first time that that's happened in 4 years, 3 years. That will very clearly be telling me something is significantly shifting. But there's still proving to be done. Also, we've got this resistance level from the summer that has not broken yet. Again, huge gains, awesome for the bulls, but there's so much work to be done here. You know, ADA needs another 500% to be looking back towards all-time highs. 81 is the most important resistance. Crypto stock still on fire as Bitcoin has not topped. Another thing to note, Bitcoin, again, there's definitely correlation to the NASDAQ during regular trading hours. And today, the clue was bulls are loving the correlation. Why? So here's the bell ringing. Here's the stock market bell ringing. We did not break the low from that point for the rest of the day. Look at what QQQ did. QQQ dumped on the open with just a 5-minute stair-step drop. And so you can look at that relationship and say, okay, that increases my confidence to be a Bitcoin bull. That increases my confidence to buy crypto stocks on the morning. Because I'm seeing a relationship between QQQ and BTC where many times in the past, this action on QQQ at the open, Bitcoin would be doing the same thing on the 5-minute chart. And the fact that it wasn't tells me this is unusual. The most likely scenario over the entire year is if the NASDAQ's doing this on the open, Bitcoin's dropping with it on the open. And so I identify this is different. This is unusual. This is the less likely thing that has been happening. And I can use that little puzzle piece of information to inform decisions elsewhere. All right, I'm going to let my Bitcoin long run a bit more significantly. I'm going to be a bit more aggressive looking to enter crypto stocks long. Because I know if QQQ bounces, that can only help Bitcoin. Bitcoin was not dragged down by QQQ's drop. And when QQQ bounces, that can only help. So again, it's just identifying relationships and then little pieces of the puzzle. And again, this is obviously more advanced trader stuff. And unless you're actively day trading, you don't care about that. But that is a bit of information that can be utilized. Nice list today. So Doge, Near, RNDR. I'm going to look at Mana and Sand real quick. You can make a list. Which names, again, if you want to keep an eye on laggards, which names have not broken weekly resistance? So we did this over the weekend. So Mana had broken weekly resistance. Sand had not done so yet. So Sand, potential laggard. It was still weekly lower highs. It's trying to change that now. But you can essentially look around and say, okay, which of the names have not seen a breakout? And then you keep an eye out, whether you're setting, volume is telling you interest is starting to flow into a certain name that has been more quiet. It's not a huge move up, but a little bit of laggard action. FOMO buy Cardano. No. You look at ADA and you say, all right, I'm looking for a back burner. You look at the 15-minute and say, all right, boom, 15-minute oversold, marked the bottom. That was the best entry at any point in the last 2 days. Was 15-minute oversold. Back here, 15-minute oversold. Best time to enter anytime in that period. But if we confirm a 4-hour downtrend, now we got to be a little cautious. If we confirm a 4-hour downtrend, that tells me patiently wait for hourly oversold to scout a daily higher low. The 4-hour looks very different than Bitcoin right now. 543 is extremely important short-term support, mid-term support, whatever you want to call it, because if that breaks daily, that's every coin that you're looking at right now that has been running over the last week. You're just looking for signs that increase the probabilities that daily consolidation is coming or not. And it's either a confirmed hourly or a confirmed 4-hour downtrend. When Doge gave us that blow off top on the 5-minute, the hourly pullback was great for bears, short term. But if you can't confirm an hourly downtrend, you're not going to see any daily consolidation. As soon as your bounce retracement is, 61% plus, it's not likely that we're going to confirm an hourly downtrend. Make the bears prove it, because the trend is bullish. Man, Bitcoin is looking so good. Not for an entry now, but for those still riding positions. NASDAQ has had a solid bounce over the last half hour. Litecoin. So when you're scouting altcoins in this market environment, I look at the BTC pairing first. I don't even look at LTC USD because I want to know what's the relative strength or weakness doing. That is a red flag. We are at all-time lows of relative weakness. Well, I can't say that. Many year lows of relative weakness. Big red flag. I don't want to be focusing on this name. I have to see something on the BTC pairing chart that is showing me that focus is shifting to this name. Trying to nail a bottom on a chart like this is not a profitable strategy. Ask anybody that's tried to find a Litecoin reversal. So again, the US dollar version, we've made a bull move, but it won't go anywhere meaningful without the BTC pairing finding a long-term bottom. Right now on Litecoin, anything under, look at this wall, 113, 114. Anything under that level, we can go 50% from here to get to that resistance, but anything under that's just a monthly lower high. On a chart like that, make the bulls earn your money. There's opportunity cost, right? If I got money sitting in Litecoin, I'm missing out on opportunity elsewhere on names that are 3 times as strong as Litecoin. Make the bulls earn your money with the alt BTC chart showing you other people are pouring their money into that name. And this chart is not doing that. We could say daily EMA 12 has been resistance for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Absolutely nothing changes if daily EMA 12 is resistance. CAS. Nice move off the low. CAS BTC. All right, confirm a daily uptrend. When's the last time CAS BTC has confirmed a daily uptrend? It has not happened in 2 months. So if I'm going to say that something is shifting, I've got to see the confirmed daily uptrend for follow through with that relative strength. Does this cycle feel like 2017 blue sky breakout? No, nothing will ever, this sector will never trade like 2017 again. It's not possible. The liquidity is so different, it will never be like that. It can't be. It's impossible for it to be like that. You would need trillions of dollars pouring in. What 1 million? I would have a $600,000 position on Bitcoin. You know, I would put a $500,000 buy on the order book, and I would influence bots and algos with a $500,000 buy. Just putting it on the bid, I would instantly see bots buy at the ask because my bid was now there, and they were reacting to that. $500,000 right now does nothing to influence the price of Bitcoin. It's a different beast. It's a maturing market that will never trade the same. And that's why I keep saying, yes, altcoins will run. There will be big winners, a few of them, but we will never, in my opinion, we will never see an altcoin market like 2021 again because it's just different. The liquidity is different. The market learns its lesson. You'll never have everybody sitting at home with stimulus checks again. It's just every single run is always different for a number of factors. But the crypto space has been in maturation mode. Is that a word? Maturation? We're going to go with it. It's been in maturation mode for its entire existence. And ETFs have done nothing but add liquidity, which means less significant. I mean, Bitcoin used to do, in 2017, Bitcoin would do a 10% 15-minute candle. I mean, you hit a new all-time high in 2017, you mark it by the ask because you know you're going 5% higher instantly. It's a very different market environment. Popcat. I've been hearing about this one a lot. Ensure that you will not hold a bag. Ensure that you will place stops no matter what your emotions tell you, because when you've traded markets long enough, feeling fear reminds me of euphoria. Feeling euphoria reminds me of fear because I know the pendulum's coming back. I know it's coming back. It's just a matter of time. Maybe it's a long time. Maybe it's months. Maybe it's a year, but it will be back. You better believe it. And so you remember the opposing side of the emotional spectrum to help inform your decisions so you don't get blinded by assuming, like, you know, there's people right now that have been trading stocks for 4 years where they're just like, yeah, you just buy every single dip and, you know, you go up 20% in the NASDAQ on average a year. And it's just a reckoning is coming because it's such a short window of time. You've got to zoom out to all the pendulum swings and cycles. And people, you know, I've been trading for 14 years. I've never seen, you know, 2022 in the stock market was a bear market. That's the closest thing to a bear market I've ever seen. I mean, you look at QQQ, 3-month time frame. This is the closest thing to a bear market I've seen in my 14-year trading career. There will come a time where we're in a 3-month downtrend and we haven't seen an all-time high in 4 years. That's going to happen at some point. I've never experienced anything like it. But by looking at history, I know it's going to happen. It's just a question of when. Popcat. Weekly high or low, now our most important support at 117. If we lose 117, a longer term shift will be underway. If you hold 117, the weekly chart is just fine. Looks like we got right down close to hourly oversold. Looks like it got front run a bit. Looks like that hourly RSI got right down to maybe 31. Double bottom. And then we shift back. Looks like we just had a daily uptrend reconfirm. That's a good sign. Key daily support, 136. We're just looking at 182. So we got a daily uptrend and a weekly uptrend. Which time frame is most important to you as your guide? All right, hit that like button. Thank you. Shares, again, Trader Pro free trial. Give it a try. Check out the back burners. I mean, we got the back burners on TradingView as well. We're going to have Super Stack on TradingView as well, so you can use it for stocks. Trader Pro is just crypto. We're going to have an annual sale for Chart Guys membership in 11 days, where the Super Stack indicator will be included with that. Come and learn. You will not change your life on your first Euphoria market. You will learn painful lessons. You'll give back a ton of your profit. It's the second time around that you change your life. And again, Devin, with the example of the Dogecoin top, go to Chart Guys, look at Devin and Trend, two of our best traders in the crypto space, their story, their live stream. Fumbled the bag, 2017, absolutely smash it, 2021. You've got to learn the lessons and apply them the next time around. It's a long road. I'm going to learn lessons whenever that I'm going to apply for 15 years from now. You know, my first bear market, 2022, I did not capitalize in a meaningful way. I preserved my capital. I was like a turtle. I went in my shell and I watched. And the lessons that I learned in 2022, I'm going to make more money the next bear market we see without a doubt. I have no doubt whatsoever. Don't be hard on yourself. You can't expect to smash things your first time around. It takes multiple times. Appreciate all your support. The White Afghan's been watching for 7 years. That's wild. All right. Do good things. Feel free to ask questions. Go on our website. We have so much content for free. Anything. Backburner. We got ebooks. We got webinar, educational video. Where to exit a backburner play. Q&A clip from a live stream I did forever ago. Backburner. Sucker punch. Stair steps are nice. Establish your game plan. Write it down. And do good things.